Hi, I'm Rowley from Javrow. I've been recruiting in the IT industry for many years. I've been recruiting in total for 17 years across Australia and working with some of the leading organisations in the IT industry. I'm very proud to have been involved in many very successful processes, but I've also been involved in some unsuccessful processes. I've seen some good and some bad techniques and some good and some bad processes within organisations, and I think I've learnt a number of lessons across the years. I'm very happy to be able to share some of those lessons with you today in terms of some tips and pointers that might help you recruit in a very, very challenging talent market. I hope this helps. As I'm sure every one of us understands, we're working in one of the most competitive talent markets we've had to date. It's absolutely crucial that you get the right talent in your business. As I'm sure you would agree, it's not just about the leadership in your business, it's not just about the products that you're providing, but it's mostly about the people who are involved in delivering outcomes to your customers, who are involved in delivering outcomes for your business and helping you be successful as an organisation. So to be competitive in this talent market, it starts with the ability to attract the right talent to your business. So it's making sure that everybody who comes into contact with your business leaves with a great impression. It's making sure that everybody who comes into your business for an interview is given the opportunity to sell themselves as much as they need to, and you are given the opportunity to choose the best talent in the market as well. What you need to do when you're interviewing talent is get yourself in a position of choice. You want to be able to choose whether you hire someone or not. You also need to be able to understand whether they're the right talent and the right fit for your organisation. So these are some of the things we're going to talk about today. Initially, what you need to do is be prepared. It's absolutely crucial that you prepare well for an interview. Everybody thinks that you've got to put together a job description, and generally it's not done as a labour of love, it's done because you have to do it. I think in terms of having a job description, you absolutely need to understand not only what job needs to be done and what it involves, you need to understand how you're going to measure it, but you also have to share this amongst the people who are involved in the interview process and the team in which this person's going to walk into. So it's absolutely crucial that not only you prepare yourself and you prepare some questions for interview, but you do have a 5 or 10 minute meeting. That's all it needs to be, but really understand as a team what you're looking for, what are the key criteria, what are the must-haves, what are the good-to-haves, and what are the it would be nice. So get this stuff straight up front, and it will enable you to have a much more powerful interview. It will enable you to have take a more powerful approach to your recruitment process generally, and it will enable you attracting some of the best talent in the marketplace if that's what you want to achieve. Behavioural interviewing is the title of a technique that can be used to absolutely try to understand exactly how somebody behaves in their role. And using behavioural interview techniques, you look at ways they've behaved in past roles in certain situations. I'm sure you're all aware it's very easy for someone to walk into a room and say, I did this and I did that and I can do this and I can do that. And the other part is who gives a bad reference. So even if you go and check their references, it's sometimes very, very hard to actually get a true understanding of their behaviours and how they deal with certain situations. So behavioural interviewing techniques can be very much designed around the opportunity and designed around what it is you need to understand. Again, preparation is key with this, so it's being ready as to what it is you want to achieve out of the meeting and what it is you really need to understand from the person so that you can ask the right questions to get the right outcomes and understandings. Once you've asked a behavioural interviewing question, for example, for sales, it may well be, could you please give me an example of a time where you've been in a particularly competitive situation? How did you handle it? And what did you do? What was the outcome? They may give you the answer you're looking for straight away. They may give you enough detail. If they don't give you a real example, a lot of the time people will gloss over it and they'll answer it generically again. That's great. Could you please just give me a specific example of a time when this happened? Fantastic. Now, what was your part in that? So it's really getting to grips with not only that it happened, but that specifically this person was involved and this was their specific part in it, and this is the specific outcome that they achieved. You can drill right down to the detail. For example, if someone says to you, "Oh, well, I made sure we got a meeting with all of the senior managers early in the conversation." Okay, how did you go about that? What were the things you did to achieve that? How did you get those people to the table? Again, you're drilling down, you're testing to make sure that they are giving you the correct information, but at the same time, you'll get a very, very strong view of exactly how that person operates. For a technical role, it may be something more along the lines of, can you give me an example where you had a specific problem to troubleshoot and tell us how that happened, what you did about it, so what were the actions and what was the outcome. Once again, a lot of people go into we speak, so they talk about, well, we did this and we did that. What you need is I speak. So you really need to bring that person back to the question again, thank them for what they've given you, but review the question and ask them again, could you please tell me what your specific part in this was? What specifically did you do to get to the bottom of the problem? What specifically did you do to help solve that problem? And again, you can take them down various avenues. You can ask more detailed questions about different parts of that experience. And again, it's going to give you a very, very true understanding of how they operate. Not only that, it'll give you a very good understanding of how they communicate under pressure as well. So hopefully that's helpful on the behavioural interviewing side of things. You can have that as a structured component of the meeting. If you're having a good conversation with the person and the opportunity comes up to build those questions into the conversation, it's going to make them feel a lot more at ease, and it's going to be a lot nicer, I think, for both of you to get to the end of the meeting having had more of a chat, but getting the outcomes that you need, and the person's obviously then had the opportunity to position all of the skills that they have throughout that meeting as well. The other thing you're looking for is cultural alignment and team fit, and I think that's got to go both ways. So whilst you're looking for that within the person that you're talking to, they're looking for that in you also. So it's a really good idea, if you can, to put together a list of words. It sounds very basic, but a list of words that give you, or that give the feeling of the culture that you're working in. A list of words that resonate with you around the culture of the people who come into your organisation. These words can be used throughout a conversation, and you can look out for those words being used by candidates as you're talking to them as well. So, if you're an empowering organisation, if you're a company who like to empower people to get results and make them accountable, if you enjoy a flexible work environment, then these are things to look out for in the way that they're speaking to you. If you've got someone sitting there telling you that they work best with process and they work best with defined outcomes in mind and they're better in a project environment, then perhaps they're not as flexible as you need them to be in the environment that you're working in. So some of these things are really, really key words that you can keep an eye out for, and as I say, you can use throughout the interview process that you go through, and that will resonate with the right candidates and not with the wrong candidates. Again, though, you really want to be in a position of choice at the end, so make sure that you're giving positive reinforcement throughout the process, and try not to use any negative words or words that have negative connotations throughout the conversation also. The other part is absolutely you need to understand the culture of your business, you need to understand the values of your business, you need to be able to articulate those clearly. Good talent want to know they're walking into a place where people know what they're about, they know what their business is about, they know what the outcomes need to be, they know how they're going to be measured, and they know how they're going to integrate with the bigger picture of the organisation. So you really need to get that right in your mind before you walk into an interview situation. The other part is really giving everybody the opportunity to be successful. So if you intimidate people in an interview process, or you make them feel uncomfortable, you put a lot of pressure, then often they're going to forget where they're at. They're not going to remember what it is they need to say. They're going to potentially miss a beat when it comes to their responses to interview questions, etc. And it may well be that you miss a beat when it comes to making a decision on the right candidate. So try and make them feel at ease. Try and get a little bit of humility into the conversation. Try and get across that, we're all human, we're all real people, and get them a little bit relaxed. That could be as simple as talking about something personal to you without getting too personal. So it may be that your son played cricket on the weekend and had a slight incident, and it managed to pick himself up again and get on with it. It could be that you took your kids swimming on the weekend. It could be that you and your wife had a nice meal out in the city during the week. It could be anything that just gives you a little bit of a person behind the manager. And again, that's going to open up the conversation. It's going to soften the relationship. It's going to build a rapport, I suppose, with the person that you're talking to. The more rapport you have, the more natural they're going to feel, the more you're going to get out of the conversation, the more you're going to get from them, and you're going to get a real response. You're going to get a real feel for their culture fit, etc., etc. So that's really important too. In summary, remember that you're working in a highly competitive environment. You're really in a competitive talent marketplace, and your success as a leader and as a business is directly impacted by your ability to attract and retain the right talent and the top talent in the marketplace. It's absolutely crucial. Remember to send everybody out into the market with a really positive taste in their mouth. Good people know good people. And it's a little bit like the old customer service adage. 9 people are told if someone has a bad experience, and generally they will share with their friends if they have a good experience. That's what you want. You want them out there sharing their positive experience with their friends, successful or not. Make sure you're preparing. So prepare prior to the interview as to some of the questions you're going to ask. Make sure you understand what you're looking for, and your colleagues and peers understand what you're looking for as well. So anyone involved in any conversation with a candidate is able to share a common theme and look for common things in terms of the candidate's skills and abilities. Also remember to use behavioural interviewing techniques. Don't just go with your gut. Too many people go with their gut. That is where mistakes are made. So really you need to incorporate some behavioural interviewing techniques into your process. This can be done as part of the conversation. It doesn't need to be by rote. It doesn't need to be read off a sheet of paper and answers written down if you're not comfortable with that. But it is absolutely crucial to get some behavioural interviewing techniques into your interview process, and it will help you decide on the right person for the job. Also the culture fit, making sure that's a two-way experience. Thinking about some words that you can put together that will enable you to carry that culture fit theme throughout a process, throughout a conversation, and things you can look for in somebody who's talking to you to make sure that you feel that they fit your culture. That's absolutely crucial too. That will come through in some of the behaviours that are discussed as well, but remembering that culture fit is absolutely key, and it needs to be a two-way situation. So try to enjoy the process. I think that's very important. It shouldn't be a chore. It should be something that's pleasurable and that you can enjoy going through, and has a positive impact on both parties. Happy interviewing, good luck, and we hope you can achieve some of the best talent in the market.